Howdy, howdy. Yeah, it is the 4th of Feb. Let's go through the usual intro. The 4th of Feb, Sunday. It's a bit earlier today when I'm making this recording. It is 5:53 in the afternoon. It has been a nice Sunday, a nice quiet Sunday. I think I have to speak a bit louder because I did rewatch one of my videos and I noticed that it isn't as loud. I had to turn the volume way up. So until if I decide to buy a microphone, my voice needs to be maybe closer to the mic that's inbuilt in this laptop. Anyways, today was good. I did some work this morning, got my head out of the gym. I finished Atomic Habits. Finished the last chapter. There's been a little end credits as well. It was good book. I can see why a lot of people like it. I can see how practical it is. As promised, I will just do a quick summary of the first rule, which is make it attractive. I think it's Q, but yeah, make it attractive. I'll do a slight summary, but it doesn't really feel like a summary because Omate puts little chapter summaries at the end of each chapter. And there's about 3 or 4 chapters per rule or per stage of creating a new habit. So the one that I'll be talking about today is make it attractive. He kind of splits it up into 3 different stages of making it attractive, and I'm just reading off the little points that I found interesting, or the key takeaways that I got. So essentially what he does is he breaks it into awareness, then he breaks it into planning it out, and then he says make it easy, which makes sense on how to make something attractive. He's pretty much throughout the whole book, he emphasizes how don't make it difficult. That's why you're not doing it, because it's difficult. Take away every single road little hiccup or speed bump in the way of a habit that will benefit you. So making it attractive. So the awareness element of it is essentially identifying exactly the habit that you want to implement. The best way that I thought, I guess from that chapter was, or the best example he used was when he is leaving his house, his wife yells out, phone, wallet, keys. And he calls it, I think, pointing and naming, where essentially you say it out loud of what you're about to do or what you need to remind yourself of, or remind yourself of the habit. So when you leave your house, you obviously want your phone, your wallet, and your keys. In a practical sense, because I live alone, I don't tend to do that. However, I do talk to myself a lot, and I guess that's where it's I guess that's how how I can use it, because I generally tend to talk to myself quite a bit, both inside my head and outside, like when I speak out loud. So pointing and calling, I can see myself implementing that in a lot of ways, and I think the best thing about the time I wake up is 4:30. It's disgusting. Sometimes I feel like shit when I feel like I just close my eyes and I open it. One way I can implement it is by, as soon as I wake up, I should just say something to myself, in the sense that I don't want to hit that snooze button. You know what I mean? I've thought about a lot of the things, and one of the ones that I tried this morning was remind myself to not break a promise. And I said I was gonna wake up at the time, and you know what I mean? You have to say it out loud. Say your fucking speak the habit into existence, I guess. So that's one way I could more or less do it. So that's the awareness. Planning it out is essentially thinking about what the habit is going to do before you do it. And I think I talked previously about how important planning is and how I don't plan. I really fucking don't. Time management is fucking trash because it's so ingrained into me that to be that spontaneous type, which is stupid. Like, I enjoy a spontaneous life here and there, but I guess that's what separates successful people from people that aren't that successful. With the outliners, of people that is it outliners or outliers? The people that who have a carefree and are successful. One of the traits of a successful person is that they are efficient, and time management is efficient. So planning out is exactly when you're going to do a habit, where you're going to do the habit, and what you're doing. So he breaks it down into time and location. I will do certain behavior at this time, at this location. So again, I could use the example of going for my morning walk. I can go, I can go for my walk at 4:45 for 25 minutes around the block. Location, the block. Time, 4:45. Behavior, the walk. So that was fairly straightforward. It's actually fucking doing it. I think that's the hard bit, is actually sticking to it. So I like to write it down prior. I like to write down the habit or that little morning routine, and then I tick off I don't usually all the time, but I tick off sometimes the list that I make as I'm journaling in the morning. And there's a weird satisfaction of ticking off or crossing off, like the line of crossing off a task that I said I was going to do, and I did it. So yeah. Look, I'm going to be almost very I'm going to be blunt. This morning, when that fucking alarm went off, I did sleep in. So fuck me. But I think there is no excuse for it. I just did. And tomorrow I'm going to do better. I have to do better. Otherwise, I could just push the alarm back to 5. And then set it back, because I'll think about it, and I'll have to adjust it, because 4:30 seems to be, I can do it during the week, but on weekends, it's pretty fucking hard. So I'll have to adjust that. So he says, so he plans it out. I will do this habit at this time, at this location. And he says, write it fucking out. And it seems so fucking easy to implement, but Lord have mercy. I guess I have to start doing it. I have to plan out the habits that I want to implement. And he says, in doing that, you can start the process of habit stacking. So once I come back from my walk, I come into my room, I sit down. Before I have my morning coffee, I meditate. So for 15 minutes, I journal, and I just write 3 things that I was grateful for the day before. So I do that, and for after I do that, I go straight into my reading. So an hour of reading, and no matter what, I read from 5:30ish to 6:30. That's non-negotiable. I just do that. And so habit stacking is waking up, going for the walk, coming in, meditating, bang into the reading. Where I go wrong is that from 6:30 to about 7:20 that's about 15 minutes of trying to get ready for work. I fucking play videos and shit while I'm essentially trying to get ready for work. I'll have to figure out how to fill in that time with something a bit more productive. And I haven't thought about what I'm going to do, but I need to adjust that little space bubble. But habit stacking is essentially what I just said. Walk, journal, read. Walk, journal, read. And that seems to go pretty well. That's an easy little morning routine that I've put together myself and has actually paid dividends because I fucking read. I run through I just was talking to my sister and I've read 4 or 5 books in the last month and a half, which is fucking ridiculous. That's not me. I'm not a reader, but I've made time to do it and I've done it. So that's a strong benefit right there. So it says with habit stacking, habit pairing, and essentially that's once you finish one habit, it's the cue to do the next one. So it does work in that sense. It really does work. And then I have the third. So I've got awareness, and then I've got planning it out. So that was the habit stacking and habit pairing. And then he says, make it easy, which is essentially your environment. He uses the example as kitchen is for cooking and your office is for working. So the environment, that room is specifically should be made for that certain activity. So don't bring your fucking food and eat it in your office, or you wouldn't take your work and put it in the kitchen, like you wouldn't do your work out of your kitchen. Keep it separate so that you can associate the environment with that habit, which is one thing that I've been trying to do is eat in my kitchen. I usually, one day I'll have to do a little review of, a little tour of my apartment, but I tend to, because the table is right here, my big desk is right here, I like to eat while I am watching a video. And it is not a good habit because I have trained myself to now be in this room when I'm eating. So I have changed that by going to buy a fucking chair and put it on my kitchen tabletop. So I just eat from my kitchen tabletop now, which is, I should have done that a lot earlier, but I was just lazy. He says the best way to improve qualities is not by wishing you a more disciplined person, but by creating a more disciplined environment. Create an environment so that it is easier to maintain that habit. That's essentially what I was saying. Another one with like making it easy is, I just wrote it down as an example, was jujitsu. So I used to do jujitsu 3 times a week when I was back in Brisbane. And it was so easy because I used to do it before work. So essentially I wanted a nice incentive was that I'd get a good parking spot. So I'd arrive, I'd do jiu-jitsu from 6 to 7, and then 7 to 7:30 I was at work, preparing, getting ready for work, and then 7:30 I'd start working. So making it easy in the sense that it was such an easy path to follow. Like it wasn't difficult, essentially. I'm not too sure if that applies now that I think about it with the environment. But the essence of making it as easy as possible, it was so easy to maintain a consistent training schedule with jiu-jitsu because Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I was going to work early, and it was on the way to work. It was about 3 or 4. It was a street away from work. It just worked out so much easier, and I think when I apply it to, I guess, the way that I was eating, the habit of eating at the thingy, I made it easier by putting a fucking chair there, so that I can eat off the kitchen table the countertop. Holy shit! I should have got some water. I feel like I'm talking too much and too quickly. Essentially those 3 things, when you really break it down, it comes back down to just making it as simple as possible. Because when you start adding too many things into your fucking morning routines and shit like that. It just becomes a fucking hassle and drain. Like it's just thinking about all the things that I think I want to do. I don't really want to do it. But yeah, look, that's essentially what making it attractive habit is. It's being aware of that habit, planning it out on how you're gonna be executing that habit, and then making it as easy as possible. So creating an environment where you can facilitate that habit. And that's what I got out of it. I can definitely see the benefits of it easily. Yeah. But yeah, that's my little review of chapter 1. I think next week I'll do chapter 2. But I finished the book, so I'll have to remind myself. I'll write a fucking note, and I'll do rule 2. And rule 2 is make it attractive. So I guess he's gonna break that down. All right. Look, I'll leave it there. I don't really have a quote, but I think that last one was for making it easy. The best way to improve your qualities is not by wishing you were more disciplined, but by creating a more disciplined environment. That's very applicable to me. I'm looking forward to this week. It's going to be a good. It should be a good week. It should be a bit surprising. I think I got something exciting to say on Friday. So we'll see how that goes. But look, thanks for tuning in. Whoever is tuning in. I hope whatever I'm saying is giving some value. I really do. It's helping me a lot speaking to a camera. Like it's ridiculous. Like I don't know what it's doing to my soul, but it makes me feel good. Yeah, it's quite therapeutic in a way, and I'm quite liking it. So if you are watching, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm almost always the people that are watching are my friends. So I would very much appreciate maybe some feedback. Oh no, some feedback. But just shoot me a message. I'd love to know if it is giving you some value. Maybe some tips on how I can deliver the video a bit better. But yeah, look, thanks for tuning in. Whoever's watching this on a Sunday night, look, I don't have the Sunday blues. It feels good knowing that I'm going to work tomorrow. But yeah, cheers for tuning in. Deuces.